So, good evening, everyone. I am Nishanth. I am one of the senior faculties here in RC Reddy, mostly dealing with history subject. So, I guess you had a class with Gautam yesterday, right? So, what are the important takeaways in that class which you felt? I've discussed with Gautam also. So, he said he has given some inputs on answer writing. So, the expectation is that we'll continue similar discussion, but with regard to subject history, right? Fine. So what are your takeaways from yesterday's session? I just wanted to understand before I start. What are the takeaways? Yes, you can speak, or online people can just drop a message as to what are your takeaways. What are the important takeaways? So we'll just have something called, so it's an open session on answer writing. Okay, what are the important takeaways? What are the important takeaways which you felt were important in yesterday's answer writing? Main structure of the answer writing. Okay. Main structure of the answer writing. Okay. What else? Deriving dimensions from the question. Good. That is one part. Then what else? Value addition. Good. So I'll just write. So someone said main structure. Someone said derived dimensions. Right? Derived dimensions. And someone said value addition. Okay. Value addition. Okay. Value addition. Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Anything else? Sorry, subject specific approach. That's a good point you made. Subject specific approach. Okay. What else? Subject specific approach. What else? Did someone talk about presentation? Yes or no? Presentation. Okay. Fine. So these are some points probably some of the faculties must have discussed. So my experience with UPSC is I have cleared it, cleared the mains 3 times. Okay. So I have given interview 3 times. So I have cleared the mains 3 times. So in my experience, I have given 6 mains, cleared them 3 times. So in my experience, with regard to uh, the answer writing, there are some things which you have to understand. How do I? Yeah. Some things which you need to understand in the answer writing process. If you talk to anyone who has cracked UPSC, okay, you talk to anyone who has cracked UPSC, they'll tell you the fundamental effort is basically in the answer writing itself. Okay, basically in the answer writing itself. So if your answer writing is good, and if your for answer to be good, it doesn't mean that your presentation should be good. The answer should have certain content, certain dimensions, and it should meet certain demand of the question. So always, for example, if there is a question, okay, if there is a question, you should always first go and see what is the core demand. So I use this word core demand a lot wherever I do answer writing sessions, because I do answer writing sessions very extensively. And first thing I generally tell the students is identify the core demand. So when core demand, I mean to say, what is the crux of the question? What is the crux of the question? What the question is actually asking from you? What is the crux of the question? So you may say, sir, what do you mean by crux of the question? Of course, I'll give you one or two examples, but many students, many aspirants who actually think that they have done extremely well in the mains, okay, when they come out and then they are super confident, when they end up seeing their GS marks, they get very low scores. This has happened. Why? Because when you think that you understood a question and when you have written it in a particular format or a particular framework, and if you don't understand what is the core demand of the question, what are the different dimensions of the question, the most probable thing you will do is write an answer which you feel is right, not what the examiner is feeling right. Are you able to understand? You will write an answer which you felt is right and not what the examiner is feeling is right. And in this process, you will not meet the expectations of the examiner and thereby you will score low. So first thing is understand the core demand. So how do we understand the core demand, sir? Simple fundamental rule is read the question at least 3 to 4 times. Read the question at least 3 to 4 times. Sir, is it possible to read the question 3 to 4 times? Yes, of course you have to do it. I understand in mains you have to write 20 answers in 3 hours, 10 markers and 10-15 markers. You are running against time. But it's not a race where you are looked at the speed, or it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, right? If even if you answer 15 to 16 questions with very good quality, your probability of scoring high marks is more in mains. It's not about writing 20 answers, it's about writing the number of quality answers. So always read the question 3 to 4 times. Once you do that, you will understand the core demand of the question. You will understand the core demand of the question. So first thing is core demand. And next, understand, as someone rightly said, what are the various dimensions? What are the various dimensions? Understand what are the various dimensions which are asked in that question. Understand the various dimensions which are asked in that question. Okay, fine. Now you understood the demand of the question. Now you understood the various dimensions. Then what to do? Now you have thoroughly understood the question. Now you have to write answer, right? You have to write the answer. So basically you have two different types of answer. You have to write a 150 word answer or a 250 word answer. I am talking as far as GS is concerned, not optionals. Okay, even in ethics there is a slightly different pattern, but if you see GS 1 2 3, this is your pattern, right? Okay, 150 words and 250 words. So basically 250 words is a slightly essay type of question. Yes or no? 250 words means you have to write in 3 pages, and 150 words you have to write it in 2 pages. And when you see the question, okay, many people will say that you give introduction and then slowly come to the body. Okay, I am saying you still give introduction, but for a 150 word answer, you have to arrive at the core demand in the first 4 to 5 lines itself. You try to understand what I'm saying. This we have gained through experience. So you'll try to appreciate only when I give you some examples. So in 150 words answer, you will have a very short introduction of one or two or maximum three lines, not beyond that. And when you come to the body, you should immediately come and meet the core demand of the question. Because first thing is you don't have enough space, and second thing is in 150 words you should hit the bullseye at the earliest. What many people think, if there is a question, let me introduce its background, entire half page, and then come to the core demand. By the time you will not only lose the time, but also you are forcing the examiner to lose interest on your copy. So for a 150 word answer, as a matter of fact, even for a 250 word answer, always try to arrive at the core demand at the earliest. In fact, for 150, it should be immediate. Okay. If you have to arrive at the core demand at the earliest. So core demand, what is this core demand? I'm using it so many times. So let me give you one example. Okay. And then you'll understand this concept of core demand. So if there is a question, so this is a straightforward question. Let's assume that this is a question. Okay. What is the question on? It's question on Great Revolt of 1857. What is the examiner asking? What are the political and economic causes of Great Revolt of 1857? Try to read it multiple times. What are the political? I'm saying it's for 10 marks. It's for 10 marks. What are the political and economic causes of Great Revolt of 1857? So when I say this question, the core demand, what is the core demand? What is the core demand? Now, since I have been talking about this particular terminology for past 10-15 minutes, so what is this core demand for this question? Huh? 1 second. Someone from here, what is the core demand? Okay. What is the core demand for this question? Huh? Can you be more clear? Basically, it is the political and economic cause. Okay. Political and economic cause is the core demand of the question. Now, what you people will do, I'll tell. What is the general tendency of deviating from the core demand? So basically when you introduce about the importance of Great Revolt of 1857 in the context of India. Okay. And then you say what is the impact and all. When you come to the main structure or the body as we call, what people think is the question is about political and economic causes. So what people do is they start writing about the military clauses, they start writing about the religious causes. Okay. And what are the other causes? They start writing about, then finally they come, huh? Finally they write political and economic. So by the time you are coming to the core demand, are you able to understand? By the time you are coming to the core demand, you are already eating lot of space and time. And examiner is not actually bothered about these two dimensions. Okay, these two are important in the context of 1857, but are they important in the context of answer? So what these two dimension should come in the very first 4 or 5 lines. Okay, but your zeal that you want to show the examiner that you know, I know other causes also, including military and religious causes. I cannot move away from that. That is your uh, aspiration to write. Okay, first write these two, first cover these two in a complete way, and you can simply say other causes, then 1, 2, 3, 4, then conclude. But if you think that by informing these four in this order, examiner is giving you more marks, then you are wrong. Because examiner is not really bothered about these two. The main core demand is on political and economic causes. Are you able to understand? So when I'm saying to the point answers, when you have to make sense of what you're writing, this is what you have to do. So never beat around the bush for answer writing. By giving extra information which is not relevant to the question. Please mind what I'm saying. By giving extra information which is not relevant to the question, you are losing marks. It might be relevant to the topic, but not relevant to the question. Here, these two are relevant to the topic, but not relevant to the question. Okay, so always and always remember, write the points which are relevant to the demand of the question. So now are you able to understand what I was speaking from last 5-10 minutes when I'm saying core demand and when you have to come at the earliest? Because you just be in the position of examiner who is evaluating 15,000 copies of same question. So I always tell my students, before writing an answer, you try to be in the shoes of the examiner, that fellow. Okay, how many people are correcting that we don't know. But let's assume that one person is evaluating 15,000 copies of same answer. Will he be really interested to look at this? What all he means is business. Means correcting the or evaluating the copy in time and giving it to UPSC. So whatever is the demand of the question, he expects you to meet the demand of the question. He is not expecting you to be a PhD in that question. So be practical. My suggestion is be practical when you are writing answers, especially in history also. This particular approach is by and large applicable to all the topics, all the subjects. So hitting the core demand of the question, understanding the core demand of the question, and entering the core demand at the earliest. Now, what is so specific about history? How to approach history? Okay. Of course, after the class, I'll give you a couple of minutes. You can ask me on any subject also. I am open with it, not a problem. Okay. What is the answer writing importance as far as history is concerned? Basically, for many people, history is, either boring or it's like a static subject. That is the two dimensions which you look into. So uh, till till recently, many people only prepared for modern India because that is somewhere interesting. It is a very recent phenomena in the Indian history, last 200 300 years. So I am more affiliated to modern India and I'll read that and come out. But then from 2018 onwards, you are seeing the increasing quotient of ancient and medieval, not only in prelims but also in mains. Ancient and medieval, when I say, it's not ancient and medieval political history, it's more about cultural history. Yes or no? Ancient and medieval cultural history. So how do you attempt those questions when they are asked? Because You think they are slightly straightforward or slightly tricky, whatever is the basis, how do you answer those questions in history? So always in history, okay, and first, and in some copies, of course, in some copies, I have seen a peculiar thing, because some toppers have told you that I wrote way forward, I wrote good way forward, so I got good marks. So now we are starting to implement that way forward. So that's good. But for ancient history answers also, some people are writing way forward. Okay. So what is the way forward for a Mauryan Empire? Or what is a way forward for Akbar? So what I am trying to say is answer writing is a very personal and a customized thing. Please remember, just because every aspirant, someone who's clearing mains, they have done some very focused study and focused preparation as far as answer writing is concerned. What might have worked for me might not have worked for someone else. Okay, so there are definitely some generic rules, but also there is some specificity to the answer writing. And that's why you have to show what you are capable of. Okay, the rules are there for everyone, but how to use those rules and use them to your benefit is purely in your domain. Okay, so that's why I'm saying there are no generic things like that. So don't bring those where forwards and put it in ancient history. You will look really peculiar, your answers will look really strange. Okay, that one size fits all doesn't apply in answer writing, even in paper one. So someone was asking me yesterday in other class, so sir, I am very good at drawing diagrams, so please tell me how to use my ability in history. What should I tell? What diagram can you draw? I want to draw India map. where where you want to draw India map? In what context you want to draw India map? So if, for example, 1857 Great Revolt, sir, I'll draw India map and show all the places of revolt. Okay, then what else? What next? So that's what I'm saying. In paper one itself, you have history, society, and geography. In geography, you can do a great job by drawing pictographical answers. By presenting pictographical answers, you can draw maps. When it comes to these physical geography phenomena like volcanoes, earthquakes, you can draw those convergent boundaries, constructive boundaries, volcanoes, okay, types of volcanoes. Okay, if they are asking you Pacific ring of fire, you will draw the Pacific ring of fire in the horseshoe shape, and you do all those things. Fine, you will be appreciated. Similarly, society, what if they are asking women rights are still not up to the mark, for example? Okay, then what diagram will you draw? So just because, that's what I'm saying, the rules are available in the market. How to use them and customize them is your to do job. Just because someone said I drew diagrams and got rank 1, so we all start drawing diagrams. But where did they draw the diagrams? What was the intention of drawing the diagrams? And what was the context of drawing the diagrams? This is very, very important. Okay, so even so, now coming back to our approach, we are seeing that even in paper 1 there are different approaches, because at least 8 to 10 questions come from history, 4 to 5 questions come from your society, and remaining 7 to 8 questions come from your geography. So, and then you have 10 markers, 15 markers. So basically each and every subject demands its own specific nature of answer writing. Sir, you have complicated the issue. Now in GS1, if I have 3 approaches, in GS2 I have polity, governance, international relations. So again 2 or 3 approaches. In GS2 I have much more diversity, economy, science and tech, okay, environment. So I should have 10 kinds of approaches. The basic fundamental rules of answer writing are same. Okay. The presentation and how you present the answers and how you use these kind of diagrams and flowcharts is important. Okay. So that's why I keep telling, don't go so by what has worked for someone. So I also saw people who are completely, very poor at drawing diagrams, but excellent in writing very, very catchy and good phrases. But they are trying hard to draw the diagrams. Draw diagram, draw diagram, draw diagram. No. Did UPSC give any rules saying that people who are drawing diagrams will get first rank? So we don't know, right? We don't know what's happening there. And there are people who have done written very good answers and got ranks. Some people have drawn really good diagrams and got ranks. So something which you are not really comfortable of, don't try to push yourself, which is out of your comfort zone, especially in the answer writing. You might be strong in having a structured approach and can present in a very good fashion. Okay, just because your friend is doing something different, don't try to force it on yourself. Okay, so that is very, very important as far as answer writing is concerned. So coming to the history, so for the questions in history, always first try to understand, as I said, the most important dimension, the most important demand of the question, or the most important dimension of the question. This is the first thing you should do in a history question. In a history question, the first thing you should do is understand the most important dimension or demand. And then you have to introduce which is relevant to the demand of the question. Introduction, it should be relevant to the demand of the question. Okay, the introduction should be relevant to the demand of the question. Okay, and when you're coming to the body, your body should have a proper framework. It should have a proper framework. So now I have arrived at a new word called framework. What is the framework? What do you mean by framework? Huh? What do you mean by framework? Yes. What do you mean by framework? What do you mean by framework? Arrange your points in a systematic way which is meeting the demand of the question. For example, if your question is having various dimensions, the question is asking you dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, so on. So arrange them in a proper framework with appropriate side headings. This is very, very important in history. Appropriate side heading, side heading 1, side heading 2, side heading 3, appropriate side headings. Okay, so and then conclude your answer. So how should be the conclusion be? Conclusion should be mostly based on the body, whatever you have written, the conclusion should be based on the body, and it should show the causes, sorry, not causes, it should give the impact of this event, if any. Impact of this event, if any. What do you understand by conclusion? Impact of the event, if any, means what? Impact of this event, if any, means impact of this event, if any. So in bringing your conclusions, the examiner should be aware that you are a well informed aspirant. Yes or no? You should look like a well informed aspirant. How will you look like a well informed aspirant? You take the same example of 1857 Great Revolt. Okay, so you have written political economic causes and then you have written other causes. Okay, so your political is coming here. Okay, your economic causes is coming here. You are saying other causes. Okay, and in the conclusion, okay, you mean you need not write a side heading like conclusion. No, don't write intro and conclusion, not required. So in the conclusion, you will say the impact of 1857. So based on the body, you can say along with these political and economic causes, the Great Revolt of India 1857 was very seriously suppressed by British. Yes, however, However, you see, however, now you are saying the Great Revolt of 1857 has impacted the immediate administrative reforms of the British, where the governor generalship was abolished and came a new system called viceroyship, or the Secretary of State came into picture. Now, the question is not exactly asking you that. Okay, the question is not exactly asking you what is the impact, but by making these lines in the answer, by making these one or two lines in the answer, at the same time, you are not deviating from the core demand. You are still within the core demand. You are talking about causes. You have concluded about causes. You are saying these causes led to 1857. 1857 led to these two, three causes. And by saying so, what is that you will achieve? The examiner will understand that you have not just read 1857 as an isolated event. You know what happened after 1857. So to make your introduction also much more beautiful, you can say 1857 is not an isolated uprising. It is a culmination of many things which have accumulated over past half century, and that is how, when you give a beautiful introduction preceding the event and a conclusion which is impact of the event and a body which is absolutely related to the event, your answer will look very, very complete. And you follow that approach in history, you will score really good marks, because your answers will look very, very, your answers will look very, very coherent. Your answers will look very, very coherent. Okay, so the moment you do that kind of approach, okay, and then even in the body, though it is not directly asked, you have made a couple of dimensions which are related to 1857, and thereby you have again informed the examiner that, sir, not only political and economic, I know that there are other causes. Okay, you need not make it a big thing, but you can say other causes, small side heading, 1 or 2 points, then he'll understand. Yes, you have met the core demand. Then within that framework, you are exhibiting your knowledge to the examiner. This is the art of answer writing, especially in history. Okay, because why I am doing this, sir? Should we really do this? You need not do. Even if you straight away write what is the demand of the question, you may get bare minimum marks. Out of 10, you may get 4 or 5 marks, whatever it is. But it's not about getting the average marks, right? It's about getting that extra mark in your answers. So you have to impress the examiner for that extra mark. Yes or no? So what you should do? If it's economic paper, you will borrow some data. Okay, You'll borrow from RBI data, you'll borrow from UN, World Bank data, Niti Aayog data, you'll write them. That's what many people tell you, that you need to bring those facts and data and present it to the examiner. Fine. If it's a geography paper, you will draw diagrams and do some value addition and bring some, theories and all. If it's polity, you are bringing some judgments. Yes or no? You're bringing some judgments, okay, some laws, acts, okay, some reports you're borrowing and making your answer look much more beautiful. In ethics, you are bringing real-time example, case studies, you're doing that. Again, in economy, economy we just not discussed. In environment, again you are bringing some reports like IPCC reports, UNDP report, okay, or forestry report, so on and so forth. So for all other current affairs oriented subjects, you have something to borrow and present it to the examiner. Yes or no? Here, when you come to history, you don't have the luxury of borrowing something. Yes or no? Today you cannot borrow anything related to Chandragupta Maurya, right? So what you should do, your answer should look really good. Your answer should look more informed and better presented when compared to your competitors. Thereby, you have to show your knowledge in history. You have to show your knowledge in history to your the examiner. In that context, this particular structuring, this particular framework becomes extremely important. Is it clear? In that context, this particular structuring or this particular framework becomes extremely important. That is how you need to go for history. Any doubts in the approach we discussed? Anything you want to ask before I move to some other discussion? Understood how to go and tackle the history questions. So if you have this continuity in history questions, you will be richly rewarded, because the examiner will understand that you know the cause and effect of each and everything in history. And you just try these questions or answers by yourself, and you yourself will be very happy to see that you are doing very well. You're doing very well. Okay. So yeah, online students, any questions from your side with regard to this approach? Okay. So next important thing which I want to discuss is regarding the tags which are used in the question. Did you anytime see the UPSC questions? Okay. Did you anytime see the UPSC questions? There are many tags which the UPSC is asking. What are the common tags which you came across? Hmm? Explain. Okay. Explain then. Huh? Critically examine. Critically examine. Okay. Then, huh? Elucidate. Elucidate. Okay. Then, huh? Comment. Comment. Then, hmm? Analyze. Analyze. Okay. That's it. Discuss. Okay. Very good. Discuss. Discuss. Okay. So Okay, illustrate they'll not ask because it's a picture. Okay, fine. First thing, explain. What do you mean by explain? So what many people think, someone said, whatever is the question, write pros and cons as side heading, and then you will make good marks. That was the common perception till very recent times. Question, whatever is the question, give introduction, body में pros, cons, conclusion. That's it, over. Now you apply this approach for history question. I am saying that please give a detailed account of Ashokan inscriptions. What are pros and cons? So again, these are something which are generic in nature, because till recently this myth was there. Whatever question is there, if you don't understand the demand of the question, write the pros, cons, and conclusion, over. Even if they are asking you some other question also, you'll write pros, cons, and come out. Okay, please, this is not a board exam. This is not your graduation exam. With no disrespect to those exams, this is an exam which is continuously trying to fail you at every stage. Yes, the odds are against you. You are entering this exam. The moment you fill the form, this exam is trying to fail you. Yes or no? Okay, it's not that, okay, some XYZ has written well, so let's give them 35 marks. They're already at 34. Let's give 1 mark here, he will pass. There is no such mercy here. Is there any mercy there? Oh, he's getting 34.5. He's just on the border, will give +1 and his life will be settled. There is no mercy. Right from the filling of form up to your interview, even after interview, at every stage, the exam is trying to fail you. It is your passion and your hunger which has to live up to the expectation, and you have to pass. Yes or no? Yes or no? So, in that context, please do not succumb to the myths of answer writing, first thing. And I always tell my students that you should have your own style. Okay, every year topper is changing. Their preparation strategy will change. Their answer writing style will change. So, if someone got rank 1 this year, and the now the present practice is they'll release all their answer sheets in the market, and they'll have a blog. They, in that blog, everything will be released. In fact, blog was 5 year old. Now it's a Telegram channel. Create a channel and then 10,000 people will join, and they'll release their notes. Some institutes, they come and release their copies. Fine, good. From their copies, you can learn certain presentation styles. But remember, what worked for them in that year for those questions may not work for you next year in different questions. You please, when you see someone's copy, I'm okay with it, because you want to learn, you want to understand, good. But learn what they have done with regard to the question. How many people are reading the question in topper copies? Oh, his body is like this is okay. In what context he has done that, or she has done that? Are you able to understand what I am trying to say? So when you don't read along with the question, the very purpose of your skimming through their copy is defeated. Okay, so now coming back to our tags, what is explain? What do you understand by explain? Tell me. What do you mean by explain? So the moment they ask about question tags, everyone will be, oh my God, we are writing these kind of tags right from our first class. First class, leave about UPSC. But suddenly when UPSC is asking, we are annoyed. What explain, yeah? Same explain what you are doing from first class. Okay, they are not asking you anything different. Whatever you are understanding in the sense of explain, whatever I am understanding in the sense of explain, same thing they are asking. And you see, these question tags are not randomly attached. They are attached in the context of question. When you read the question and then read the question tag, there is a sync between both of them. There is a sync between both of them. They are not randomly asking the question. So when they are saying explain, so explain, generally these things come in geography or some part. So they say explain the concept of plate tectonics. Explain the concept of plate tectonics. So when they are asking you explain the concept, then you should try to give a clear picture of this topic to the examiner. Then you should say plate tectonics is a very geographical activity. It is caused due to certain issues where certain plates are coming in contact with each other. Then there is a convergence zone, then there is a subduction happening, and this leads to earthquakes. Sometimes it leads to the mountain formation. All these things you need to explain. Explain means explain, that's all. You need not suddenly, Anna, what I should explain. So, what I'm trying to say is, anyone who has passed graduation, anyone who has passed graduation knows all these question tags. Somewhere with with your notice or without your notice, you wrote in your graduation. Okay, I'm not sure it is without your notice or with notice, but somewhere these questions or question tags you have encountered in your life. But today, if you are feeling it difficult, don't make it difficult because UPSC is asking it. That's what I want to say. UPSC is asking in the context of a question. For example, next see, critically examine. First, explain is clear. Explain is clear what you need to do. You need to put the complete phenomena of plate tectonics. That's why I'm giving you examples. Plate tectonics, explain. So complete phenomena of plate tectonics, you should put it forward in front of the examiner. So there is no pros and cons in explain. What is pros and cons in plate tectonics? Okay, so the earthquake is a negative and something volcano is a positive, nothing like that, right? So it's basically a free flowing answer where you will explain the phenomena or concept of or the topic to the examiner, right? Coming to critically examine. So this is where many people get confused. Critically analyze, critically examine. Obviously, when critically means you should be critic also. When they are saying critically, you should be critic also. Critic also means while you give the positive sides of the topic, you should give the scope for improvement, not necessarily negative. What many people think is critical means positive should be there, 100% negative should be there. No. Some topics may not have negative. Some topics may have scope for improvement. Negatives is different from scope of improvement. Understood? For example, now I'll tell topic of women. They'll say almost 77 years after independence, women are yet to reach the so-called empowerment. Critically examine. In this context only they'll ask. They'll say 77 years after independence, women are yet to reach the stage of empowerment. Critically examine. Now what will you write for it? Critically examine, they are asking you. What will you write? So they are saying even after 77 years of independence, women are not yet empowered. Critically examine. What is your answer for it? Huh? How do you first tell me what is the core demand of the question? Okay, I'll write the question. Tell me, what is the core demand of the question? Right. What is the core demand of the question? Hmm? Even after 77 years of independence, women are yet to be empowered. Critically examine. What is the core demand of the question? First, identify the core demand of the question. Is it 77 years of independence? Women empowerment. Good. Women empowerment is the core demand of the question. So, women and empowerment is the core demand of the question. Good. We are all agreeing with it. Okay. Now, what should be your approach? Critically examine. How should you start the answer? You should start like a male chauvinist or a feminist. How you want to start the answer? Yes, women are not empowered. The hell with men. So that is your introduction. Or if you are a man, what women can do? Nothing. We are the men. Is that your introduction? So it's a very generic introduction. What you need to give is, for ages, women have been subjugated and they have not been empowered to the desired levels. However, of late, we have seen that many women are excelling in their professional and personal life. Having said that, there is still a scope of improvement. This shall be your introduction. So, introduction is fine. What will you write in the main part of the answer? So, yes. So, basically, the question is on the negative end. The question is on the negative end, right? The examiner has made a statement saying that women are not at all empowered even after 77 years, or he is saying that they are yet to be empowered. So he is of the opinion that not much progress is achieved with regard to women. Yes, that is the impression of the examiner. Now here you need to take a stand, but you have to give both the positive sides of the argument and the negative sides, or the betterment side of the argument. So you can agree with the examiner or you can disagree with the examiner. So you can say it's not true that they are not yet empowered. Women are everywhere today. Okay, women are in all the fields today. So of course there is still something to be improved. That is one way of arguing. One more thing, you can support the examiner. Yes, there are issues with regard to women empowerment. Some women are dropping from the school, higher grades. Some educated women are confining themselves as housewives because of personal responsibilities. Okay, so these are certain issues women are facing, and then you can give the counter argument. However, not everything is so hopeless for women. They are definitely empowered. Then you can give examples. We have women prime ministers, women presidents, and women heading the top companies. So definitely you can say, on the whole, you can, if examiner might be saying negative, you can conclude on a positive side, saying that yes, there might be certain issues, but in the past 77 years, women have come a long way and they have achieved significant progress in various spheres of life. And however, there is still some areas of improvement for women's empowerment. So what did we do here? Irrespective of what is your stand, we have spoken about both the angles, agreeing with the examiner and also slightly disagreeing where you feel. So that is what examiner wants. UPSC wants thinking brains. They want people who are writing things by thinking and writing. So that is critically examined. Are you able to understand? So you have to write, both the sides of the coin without going any extreme. Don't look like a feminist or male chauvinist. No. Even if you are a female, you cannot be a feminist. Don't look like a feminist to the examiner. And even if you are a male, don't look gender biased in your presentation, because you are an aspiring civil servant. You are an aspiring civil servant means you have to treat all your people in a very neutral way. Okay. So coming to the next, this thing, what is elucidate? What is elucidate? What do you understand by elucidate? Anyone? Elucidate means? Hmm? Elucidate means? Elucidate means list out. Elucidation means listing out. Basically, it is list out. Sometimes they are asking you illustrate. Illustrate means giving examples. Illustrate. Illustrate means if you give examples for your postulates, it will become illustrate. Illustrate means list out. So, and list out and explain. Illustrate means list out and explain. So, in the context of World War, if some question is on World War, elucidate the causes of World War One. Now you are understanding in what context they are going to use which question tag. Okay. Okay. Elucidate the causes of World War One. We all know. Okay. They may ask you explain the causes of World War One. Okay. And then comment. Comment is a very, very important thing. Comment, they mostly ask you where they want to know your judgment. Comment is basically opinion or your judgment. Comment is opinion or judgment. Triple Talaq bill is a game changer in the context of rights of Muslim women. Comment. Understood? What is the question? Triple Talaq bill or Triple Talaq Act is a game changer in the context of rights of Muslim women. Comment. Now they want to know your judgment or opinion on this topic. Sabarimala issue. The Sabarimala issue is mainly having gender sensitivity. Is it correct to stop the women of certain age from entering Sabarimala? Comment. Are you able to understand what is the context of each question tag? So comment means you cannot say as per him, as per her. You can demand those, you can derive those sources, but whatever conclusion you are giving in this particular question is of extreme significance, because it will be your conclusion, not conclusion of Modi ji or Rajnath ji. It will be conclusion of yours. You can borrow from sources. Your answer may be looking informed, but your conclusion should be yours. Comment. It's an opinion thing. So it here many people are judged in these kind of answers. Your actual thing comes out. UPSC has this very good habit of bringing out you in UPSC mains answer. You think you are very well prepared and you will try to escape, but that fellow will keep roadblocks every now and then. So first your personality will come out in essay paper. Your personality will come out in essay paper. You are good or bad, or what is your actual personality will come out in essay paper. And then your personality will definitely come out in ethics paper. You read any number of books, that fellow gave this example. Okay, ethics means I should give that red light example. If you stop for red light when there is no one watching you, you are ethical person. Okay, it there in all textbooks I will mention that. In exam hall you cannot mention that. Even if you are well prepared, ethics paper will bring out your personality. And at the last step, personal interview. You cannot escape from being yourself. We have given so many mock exams, mock interviews, RC Reddy, other institute, O institute, A institute, you go to Delhi, give institutes, so many, and finally you sit. They'll ask one question, you'll come out. Okay. So personality test itself is to test your personality. So they know what all these coaching institutes ask. Whatever is in your DAF, they'll ask you 100 questions. Okay, Nishanth sir is sitting, he himself attended 3 interviews, so I'll sit this side. Okay, your name is what? Okay, what is your name? What are the God names? Everything I'll ask. They also know what I am going to ask. But 1 or 2 questions will bring out your personality. So even in mains, these kind of questions will bring out your personality. What is your judgment? What is your maturity level? And then analyze. Analyze also is a similar question where you are required to analyze the reason. Analyze the reason for certain event. So you have to analyze certain event. For example, Make in India is a very prestigious program of Indian government. However, it could not take off to the desired levels. Analyze the reasons. Understood? I am giving you in, see, the questions might be very simple where I am trying to attach those tags, but I am trying to give you the context in which these tags are likely to be used. Likely to be used. Okay. So now you understood. Analyze means if there is a success, ISRO's success is something which is worth emulating in all the government sectors. Analyze the reasons for ISRO success. Understood? If they are saying analyze the reasons for ISRO success, that means you need to know the work culture of ISRO, how they plan for a project, how they execute it, how they take details of each and everything, minute details into their consideration, and finally how they execute that. So this analysis you should present to the examiner. Understood? This analysis you should present to the examiner. So that is what analyze means. Okay. And finally, discuss. What is discuss? Again, discuss is something which you know. Discuss. So discuss means it's like a very, informative way you have to present the answer. Discuss the causes of Great Revolt of 1857. Discuss. Discuss means, see, discuss means you should present in a way how you present to your counterpart, who's your friend. When you both are discussing, they say, right, what are you discussing? So discussing is exchange of ideas. You have to inform the examiner that whatever you know about this particular question in a very simple and coherent way. Discuss means simple discussion or simple way of presenting the answer with relevant facts and information and put it in front of the examiner. So these are the different tags generally they follow in the exam. Okay, this is how you need to mention the answers, attempt the questions, and with regard to history, I hope you're clear what is the kind of approach you need to follow. Okay, so we have talked in a generic way, we have talked relating to the history, and then we have covered certain question tags. Okay, so all this comes through only practice. For answer writing, only secret is hard work and writing answers consistently. So you need not be a brilliant student, you need not be a college topper, gold medalist. Everything is done and dusted. Keep them aside. Now everyone is in a common boat of UPSC. So in that UPSC, whoever has done more effort with regard to answer writing, with regard to developing content, they will have an edge. You might have cleared your graduation with 60%, doesn't matter. You can still get rank 1. You might have a gold medal in your engineering or graduation. If you don't work hard, you will not even clear prelims. So from prelims to interview, it's a very, very planned way of exam, and you have to be one step ahead of the exam. So you have to work hard and work smart and work in a very focused and directional way, because there's a lot of competition. We are only in one classroom of say 50 and then 60 in the online, so 100 people, that's all. 5 lakh people are writing. So if you have to be one among 5 lakh, you can understand what is the level of competition it's going to be. So try to be one step ahead. And one more thing for answer writing is, you should always try to innovate and write answers on a regular way. Okay. And have good content. Good content in the sense, today we are releasing one current affair magazine. You read ours. Tomorrow some X fellow will release, you read X. Don't go into that, fear of missing out, they call it, right? Don't go that way. If you are well prepared, you are well prepared. Okay. So in that context, we can wind up our session. Okay. Okay. Thank you.